I can see that attendees are coming little by little. I think we can start this online session. So welcome everybody. I am delighted to welcome you today for this information session regarding our MBA program. Before we start the presentation, I would like to introduce our speakers to you. Tonight we have with us Mr. Aymeric Pazzaglia. Aymeric actually will be able to tell you everything about Monaco, about what it's like to be an entrepreneur in Monaco. Actually is the co-founder and managing partner of VKMP Business Advisors. We have with us also tonight Mr. Andrea Ferraro. He is actually one of our IUM alum, so he will be able to tell you about his experience as an IUM student, what happened during his studies and also after. Tonight with us also, of course, the MBA Program Director, Dr. Marika Taishoff, and Mrs. Sophie De Lorenzo, who is the Career Services and Corporate Relations Director at IUM. She will be able to tell you everything about your career experience during your studies and also what's going to happen after your studies with us. So now we can start. Aymeric, the floor is yours. I think you're mute, Aymeric. Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar dedicated to the Monaco MBA of the International University of Monaco. Before you dig into the program with the program director and other experts of the university, I'd like to talk about Monaco a little bit to give you a short introduction. So you've probably been looking for information online and you've been seeing a number of things and probably you've been asking yourself, but what is Monaco? Next, please. Monaco is 700 years of history. It's been French, it's been Italian, it's been Spanish, it's been French again, and finally reaching independence. It's also a modern state with healthy finances, acting ambitiously in a number of areas, such as the environment, healthcare, education, and more significantly, business. It is also the second smallest state in the world, and as such, it faces daunting challenges. But as one of the former princes used to say, a nation's greatness is not measured by its size, but by the global reach of its achievements. And indeed, next please, indeed, the Principality of Monaco managed to gain access to the most selective organizations worldwide. It became renowned for a number of things, competitive advantages we can see here, safety, political stability, geographic position. Indeed, Monaco is at the center of Europe, openness to the world, debt-free nation, because Monaco is part of the very, very, very few countries in the world that have absolutely no debt at all. So being small forces some degree of selectiveness, in the population, but also in business. Setting up a business in Monaco is not always that easy. You need to ask for a business permit to the government, but this process is not aiming at rejecting people. It is aiming at making sure that the economic fabric is going well and is sane. So selecting is one thing, but performing is another. The former is rather simple to achieve, whereas the latter requires much hard work from the key actors in the business environment, which we're going to see right now. First one is the Welcome Office. It's a one-stop shop dedicated to business questions. It belongs to the government. Second, we could talk about the Monaco Economic Board, a private association backed by the government in charge of promoting Monaco companies around the world. We can also talk about the so-called professionals, advisors, lawyers, chartered accountants, who advise companies and their leaders. The Young Chamber of Commerce that we can see bottom right also is very important in terms of promoting entrepreneurship. And then we've got four main others business actors. Monaco Tech, it's an incubator, accelerator for tech startups founded by the government a couple of years ago. Then we've got clusters and associations. Here we've named a few because there are several. In Monaco, we can count roughly 800 associations. We can see, for instance, on this slide, the Monaco Yachting Cluster, dedicated to yachting, obviously, and also the AMAF, dedicated to financial activities. We can also talk about the Monte Carlo SBM, Société des Bains de Mer. That's a major company in Monaco, managing all 5 casinos and most of the luxury hospitality business. And last but not least, the International University of Monaco, offering high-quality business education programs with bachelor's, master's, MBA, doctoral programs. So these actors have learned to perform together in an endeavor to make Monaco one of the most attractive business platforms, in spite of a very, very low profile promotional campaign driven by the state. And it works. The economy is highly diversified. A lot of sectors are represented in Monaco: financial activities, intellectual services, technical services, real estate, construction. Even the industry has its piece of the cake with a 6% share of GDP. And around the world, we've seen major downturns, and this diversified economy made Monaco a perfect fit to perform during those major downturns. And still, Monaco has always keep on growing its skilled labor force, and embracing slowly but surely the recent technological improvements of our era. So you might want to ask, but what's the key to that performance? It's business and entrepreneurship. Business and entrepreneurship, they make it all. We see more than 3,000 companies per square kilometer in Monaco. There is one business owner out of 8 inhabitants. We've seen decades of almost uninterrupted growth in spite of global turmoil. The government is highly committed to the business community. We also have more than 140 nationalities. This is probably one of the most cosmopolitan cities in the world. And finally, we've got a great business school offering high quality programs, and especially an AMBA accredited program. So with all this, I think we can definitely say that Monaco is a land of entrepreneurs. This was the short introduction I wanted to make with you so that you can understand the importance of business and entrepreneurship in Monaco, and also the link between this and what the university is offering. Thank you for your attention.
Great, thank you very much, Aymeric, for that presentation about Monaco and certainly about IUM as well and the MBA program. I will talk about the MBA program itself and what makes it different, why do an MBA in general. So I mean, all of you are interested in doing an MBA, right? That's why you're attending this webinar. And there are clear reasons why to do an MBA. You want to change careers, shift industries, jumpstart your career, discover something new, discover something you may never have known existed before, challenge yourself, take a step back to rethink what are your priorities in life, what is it you're really trying to achieve, what business do you want to go into. So those are all valid reasons to do an MBA. So why do one here? Well, you've already heard about Monaco and what makes it special, so I don't really need to go into much depth on that, but let me just highlight that one of the aspects of Monaco which is truly unique is that it has expertise in certain areas. Certainly the whole notion of luxury and luxury services in particular. As Aymeric mentioned, there's a Monte Carlo Société des Bains de Mer, which has basically created Monte Carlo sort of in 1860 and created the world's first luxury service ecosystem. So it's a fascinating, shall we say, hub of luxury here. And it's constantly reinvented itself as well as a principality, as customers change, as priorities change, as technologies change. But it's also always been able to keep true to its core, which is the essence basically of any strategic innovation. Disruption, but continuity at the same time. And this is something unique really to Monaco. So one of the expertises of Monaco is luxury services. Another one, as I mentioned already, has to do with entrepreneurship and innovation. It's in the blood, in the heart and DNA of the Principality of Monaco, and also wealth management. And it all makes sense because all of these elements are interrelated. As Aymeric mentioned, there are many entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is at the heart of what makes Monaco tick, which means you have successful people, successful businesses, and of course, wealth management is part of the infrastructure to continue to attract such individuals and to ensure that they are being given the right services to continue to grow. Another element about why do it here, why do your MBA here, is that we offer you flexibility. So if you have the time and you're able to leave your job, leave your country, etc., and come here for 10 months, you can follow it 10 months in an intensive mode, residentially. If you don't have that possibility, you can also follow it in 20 months on a part-time basis, where the courses will essentially be given online with certain weeks spread over those 2 years, during which you'll have to be here. We are accredited by the Association of MBAs, AMBA, and again, I certainly recommend that any MBA program you're considering, make certain it's accredited by at least one of the accreditation bodies. We have a very thorough and very applied, shall we say, career and personal development program dedicated to the MBAs, and my colleague Sophie De Lorenzo will talk more about that. And finally, last but not least, we are ranked amongst the top 100 MBA programs in the world by the very well-known Economist Which MBA ranking. So for a small school like IOM, it's a big, shall we say, plus. Okay, the where. I don't really have to talk much about this. Aymeric gave a wonderful presentation about what makes Monaco unique. We all know location is important. We're very diverse. While a student here, you'll also have the opportunity to meet with many of these entrepreneurs and decision makers. It is part of the curriculum. We ensure that there are constant, shall we say, interactions between our MBA students and the business community here in Monaco. There are also very many conferences and congresses which take place here on an annual basis. Apparently there are more than 400 a year, so even more than there are days in the year. And of course, we are on the French Riviera, which is not a bad place to be. Next, please. Okay, who? And again, here we're very proud of our approach to faculty. We have a very distinguished roster of full-time faculty who come from some of the best business schools in the world with their PhDs. They're very well-known researchers in star journals. We also have very, very good professors, full-time professors who focus more on teaching, and they're excellent teachers. But we also have visiting faculty from some of the leading business schools in the world, from Bocconi, from Luis, from INSEAD, etc. And we also have adjunct faculty, and these are professionals. So, a course, let's say in venture capital entrepreneurial finance, will be taught by somebody who has a business in venture capital and entrepreneurial finance. We have courses taught by professionals from the fashion industry when it comes to, let's say, luxury retail. So we have this combination of having a very certainly a sound theoretical approach, hence we're accredited by AMBA, we're in the Economist rankings, but we always have this perspective of being, shall we say, applied. We want the students to be able to apply what they learn in the real world learning, so that it's not just something in the classroom. So we have that perspective in terms of faculty. They come from different, shall we say, domains, different kinds of expertise, and we have the theoretical always combined with the applied, with the practical, with the experiential learning as well. And this is especially important, certainly for MBAs. You also have a mentorship program, and I think Sophie will probably go into more depth on the mentorship program. And that again is unique to IUM and to the MBA program here, because the mentorship program allows you to meet with successful professionals, with entrepreneurs, with business people, business owners across a variety of fields. And these individuals are specifically chosen based on your profile and what it is you want to accomplish, what it is you want to achieve, which industry interests you, which sector interests you, which professional or functional area interests you. So if you're interested in, in wealth management, it could be one of the senior executives from one of the private banks here in Monaco, or one of the wealth management companies here in Monaco. If you're interested in luxury hospitality, it could be, it has been in the past, senior executives from the Monte Carlo Société de Bains de Mer and other hospitality providers, yachting similarly. So these mentors, again, they allow you to broaden your horizons and also to develop a network of professionals. So that's another integral element of our experiential learning approach at IUM within the MBA program. And again, we have career and executive coaches. You will be introduced to them by Sophie. And these individuals come here to basically ensure that not only are you getting sort of an academic background and also professional, shall we say, exposure to various industries and professions, but also that you're preparing yourself to enter the workforce or to create your own business as well. Next, please. Okay, the how. So again, I already mentioned that we have basically two different delivery modes. We have one program, it's the Monaco MBA. There are two different delivery modes and also different, let's say, venues. So you have a residential and a distant delivery mode, and the full-time program is 10 months and the part-time is 20 months. And typically the part-time is online. We have had students who have followed the part-time program residentially as well. That's also a possibility. If you're working in the area and your employer, for instance, allows you to take a certain number of hours off per week for you to attend courses, you can also do it that way. This is rare, but we have had one or two students in the past who have done this. They work in the area and they follow courses on a part-time basis. But these courses part-time are also offered obviously online, and most of our part-time students are online students. And in terms of how the Monaco MBA is sort of structured, we have 5 major pillars in terms of how the courses fit together and what we're trying to get you to learn about and to understand and to apply. One is understanding that big picture, what's happening in the world and what kind of impact, of course, can it have on business. Another one is, how can you spot and grow opportunities in this big world? Where are the opportunities, current, emerging, potential, etc.? Another element certainly is more internal, finance and operations. How are we doing? Are we doing well? What is our operational situation like? So these are, again, fundamental elements in terms of understanding internally, are we on the right track? Do we have enough money? How can we raise more money? Do we have the right kind of, shall we say, operational system in place? People as well, vitally important to understand how to select people, how to manage people, how to motivate people. So this is another part of courses designed in that domain, organizational behavior, for instance. And then we have a sort of a pillar which is called integrating it all. And these include notably the business simulation, which we've just had. And this year it was done entirely online because of the current situation, so it can be done online as well. But typically it's a residential course which lasts 4 days, and it is a simulation, and students love it. It's challenging. It's the real world again, where decisions have to be made, negotiations have to be entered into, and basically the aim is, of course, to see, to make certain that you come out not bankrupt as a company. We also have the corporate project, and in this case there are 2 different kinds of corporate project. One is a corporate consulting project, whereby you'll be working in a team with your classmates, with a group of classmates, on a project given to IUM, given to the MBA program by a company, and you'll be working as strategic consultants do, much as McKinsey or BCG or Bain work on projects. So we've had projects with Lufthansa, we've had projects with Pernod Ricard, we've had projects with Compagnie Monégasque Bank, with Fendi Casa, quite a list of different projects. And these are, again, real world applied projects where you're asked to come up with a strategy and recommendations for implementation as well. So these are excellent opportunities for you as well to work with the top managers in these companies, because these are going to be your clients, and also for you to have something to say on your resume that you've actually worked on this consulting project with such and such a company at such and such a level. Alternatively, if you already have a business plan in mind, and we have quite a few students like that, they come here and they basically already have an idea as to what kind of business they want to create. And as Aymeric said, Monaco as a culture is very encouraging to entrepreneurial ideas. You can also work on your business plan during your MBA. So it's inbuilt into your curriculum. You have time for that. You'll be guided and mentored on that individual business plan, both by professors as well as by our outside experts, investors, venture capitalists, etc. And you will present that and you'll get credit for it. So while you're studying, you're also working on your business plan. It's part of your curriculum and you get graded on it. And you also get feedback from the business community here. So that's another option, again, of putting it all together, integrating it all. Next, please. Okay, so this is just a bit of a sort of a schemata of the kinds of courses that one takes in the full-time 10 months program. And again, there's certain courses. So from September to January, we have courses that we call, the functional management courses. This is really sort of company as an ecosystem. You know, what are the functions within a company that are vital to its survival and which allow you to understand the internal and external variables which can affect a company. So this has to do, let's say, with, you know, financial analysis. It has to do with marketing strategy. It has to do with economics for managers, organizational behavior, etc. These are elements which are fundamental to a company's success. And core managerial responsibilities as well within that first semester also has to do with, you know, what are those core managerial responsibilities? Understanding big data, you know, decision making, etc. And then as time goes by, the courses begin to be a bit more complex because little by little you're beginning to see how all of these various courses fit together and integrate with one another, and how decisions made in any function will have an impact on other functions. So this is where we look at thinking strategically, new business development, etc. And you can see in the part-time program, you basically have the same thing, but split in half. So it's over 20 months, and the courses are designed to ensure that you're able to develop the prerequisites to move on into the next year. I must also add that we have very specific courses in entrepreneurship and business planning. We have courses in design thinking, innovation management, design thinking, courses in venture capital, entrepreneurial finance, all of which are really geared for those of you who are entrepreneurially oriented, who are already trying to think about creating businesses, growing businesses, etc. So throughout the year, there are courses dedicated to entrepreneurship, to the concept of design thinking, which you may be familiar with, which basically encourages people to think about, you know, who is the customer, who is the new kind of customer out there, what is it they need, how can we deliver it, etc. So very integrally related to innovation, entrepreneurship. So those are the kinds of courses, and of course I can go in more detail in each one of these courses, but I think now we will talk about career and professional development, as well a little bit about our associations with other organizations in Monaco. So I hand the floor over to Sophie.
Thank you, Marika. Thank you very much. I'm going to give you a global overview, you know, of what we are doing with an emphasis on entrepreneurship. It was the focus of today, but really I'm totally open to other questions related to our connection with classic corporations, international companies, employers, and recruitment events. We have, throughout the year, we have developed a program to help the student, the MBA student, to assess themselves, to get also the vision of business people, you know, on their own presentation, performance, and skills. And also, we also help them at the in the last part of the program to target some opportunities or to develop their own business via, or, you know, thanks to our network of connection, because we are strongly connected in Monaco with a lot of institutions, but we have also some good connection out of Monaco through our alumni network, because we have more than 3,000 people scattered all over the world. It's not enormous compared to the school that exists for more than 100 years, but for a small school like us, this is quite significant, because even if we don't have this large amount of alumni, 3,000 is enough for us, because we are very close to our alumni network, and that's also a good network to work with when you enter into this group of MBA students. So three people, you know, are working. 3 people are working to define professional development plan, career plan, etc. The main person, and some of you, if you are interested to know well what we are doing individually with MBA students, you could also meet her. The main person is Caroline Freisenberg. Caroline is both a career coach, and she's an MBA career coach. She has been working with us as an MBA career coach for 7 years, I think now, but she's also a headhunter, and she has these activities to recruit people, senior executive, in Europe mainly, in diverse industries, and she can also combine this expertise when she gives advice and when she guides also the MBA students through their, let's say, career map and career path. So she's very helpful. She can also have Skype sessions for the one who prefer the online format, so the part-time MBA online, and she's very active with every MBA student, and she's very, let's say, helpful in giving also some insight on what's happened in the current role in terms of recruitment. Myself, I'm mainly focused, I was headhunter myself as well, you know, some years ago. I joined IUM 15 years ago. And with Caroline, I'm mainly involved in developing business partnership, corporate relations, developing fruitful connection with entrepreneurs, business angels as well, or all types of networks that fit our area of specialization, and all type of connection, mainly in Monaco as well. And there is a third person who is not known, who is your mentor. And that also, I'm gonna have a slide later on to describe a bit this mentorship program. Marika has described it, but voila, this is a person who is also, who should help everyone, you know, to design the suitable career map, career plan, feasible objective as well. But this mentor intervened a lot with entrepreneurs as well, because most of these mentors were entrepreneurs or are still entrepreneurs, or are investor or business angels. So they have this combination of experience that is really suitable to the one as well setting up their own business. So next slide. This is why I think when we present our MBA profile, the MBA cohort, we like to present two types of people. The classic, let's say, person who has a corporate career, I would say that's the classic MBA profile. Sibyl Tellenbach is an example, but you know, that's exactly the typical MBA student that we have had for years. But more and more, we have entrepreneurs. And we have entrepreneurs because they are not necessarily the best students, but they are the one who brings something as well in the cohort in terms of innovation, in terms of dynamics. And we enjoy to work as well with entrepreneurs, because throughout the program, we help them to shape their plan, to develop their project, along with mentors and also the people that we know, and who can really help them to be better in that business plan definition. The next slide presents the mentorship program. So of course, I will be keen to develop more in depth this program, but the process is as follows. At the beginning of the year, every MBA meets me and meets Caroline Friesenberg, and we clarify all together what could be the career option, you know, later in the year. Assuming that, you know, most of the time you can change also career options throughout the year, because it's also the goal of an MBA program is to broaden perspectives and also to check a bit what you were thinking to do. But the mentors comes later in the year, in December and January, when you have started really to define the next plan. And the mentors is someone who can answer some of your questions. You define one career option and you have questions regarding that career option that can be on the position, that can be on the company type, that can be on the industry. And this mentor should give you practical experience, share practical experience and a possible network to help you as well to better define, adjust and target the employers, or to better define and target investors if you are setting up a company. Then just a list of logos, just to show you that what Aymeric pinpoint, but also what Marika said on the partnership that we have. We are the unique university in Monaco, so the unique business school. So we are really privileged, let's say, connection with the main player in Monaco in different type of businesses. I focus on the business of our specialization. Banks, of course, we are working a lot with private banks. we are partner with the AMAF, the association that represents the financial institution and banks here. We are developing executive education program for the local people here as well. So we are really strong with these players. We also are strong with the Monaco Monte Carlo Société des Bains de Mer, which is the main employers, but also the main, let's say, economic, let's say, players in Monaco. We are close to other networks that are much more focused on the specific industry like yachting, or with the football, we are really close with the main player in the sport business management, etc., etc. And we are also very close to some networks, local networks that support entrepreneurs. I name some, but we have others. We are close to MVCA, which is the Monaco Venture Capital Association, that gather a combination of people doing investment, doing investment, private equity, venture capital, but also all type of investment within banks and financial institutions. But also you have in that association a lot of entrepreneurs and successful entrepreneurs, also investors. And for the one really willing to set up their business through their MBA program, you know, this provides a lot of very interesting connections. We are close to Monaco Impact, which is a group gathering local entrepreneurs here, and we are doing some interesting activity with them. We are partner of Monaco Tech, which is a Monaco incubator, the official incubator of the Principality. And you have also a new incubator called Monaco Foundry, and we are also doing some activities and developing some activities with them. At the end, we consider Monaco as a campus, you know, because on the 2 square kilometers, you know, we are working a lot with different event organizers, with different organizations. So I named some initiatives there, but there are many other events that are open to us and open to the MBA student in terms of, you know, networking, etc. activities. We organize as well our own networking parties. Once a year in January, we organize a big event, quite successful and quite popular now, with almost 300 people. So both the MBA masters, but also our business partners, the mentors, the mentor of the year, the mentor of the previous year. And this is a kind of community which is really dedicated to support the MBA student who have decided, you know, to belong to that program and to that community of Monaco for 1 year or 2 years. So I think I'm there, but open to other questions that you may have. Of course, I focused on entrepreneurship, business plan competition, but I'm open to questions regarding this or one question regarding other questions related to careers.
Okay, thank you very much, Sophie, for this presentation. So a word about the admissions, because I didn't introduce myself in the beginning, sorry for that. But I am Audrey. Some of you tonight already know me because you started the application process, so you already sent me some questions regarding the program. So I am your admission manager, well, you can get back to me for any question you may have regarding the process, regarding the program itself. You have here my contact details and my phone number, so you can contact me anytime. If we can move to the next slide, please. I would like to tell you a word about scholarships, because obviously the financial point is a very important factor when it comes to undertake any program, and in this case an MBA. So we are very, as you could see during this presentation, we are keen on attracting entrepreneurs, people who are willing to undertake things, to create new projects, who are innovative, who have great ideas. And this is why we have decided to set up a scholarship especially for entrepreneurs. So it needs to be a project that will fit with the Monaco ecosystem and the industries. So main industries, Monaco, meaning of course finance, luxury, sports. These are actually the main industries where we perform. We are open to other suggestions, of course, but those ones are really the ones that stick to Monaco. Obviously, it will need to be a project that could be potentially launched in Monaco and that could be supported by an incubator. So basically, we aim at having projects that can be developed in the principality, because this is where we are and where we belong. And this is also how we want to support the principality activity. This is very important. We are the only university in Monaco. And it is important that we do have companies that fit with what Monaco is. As you can see also on the slide, there is a little bonus of 5,000 euros that can also be granted for a project with a social or environmental impact. You may know actually that the government is very keen on protecting the environment. This is one of the wheels of his Syrian Highness Prince Albert II to promote environmental respect and protection. So we want to also grant the scholarship to a company that will respect this and that will help us achieving the goals of Monaco in this field. So in total, you can have a scholarship up to 15,000 euros, meaning that you can have 10,000 if you fit the first criterion. And actually, if you also have a social or environmental company, then you can also add 5,000 to the total. So it can be a great help for starting your MBA with us. Now we are going to move to the questions. So as I wrote to you, feel free to write your questions in the Q&A section. You can also, if you prefer, raise your hands. You have a little raise hands button next to your name so that you are able to ask your questions directly orally. Before we move to that, I would like to give the word to Andrea, who is with us tonight, or graduate from the MBA program, so that maybe, Andrea, you can tell us a bit about everything we've just been said, but from the student's perspective.
Hi, everyone. What can I say? Yeah, I mean, the University of Monaco has really practical approach. It's not just theoretical, which I mean, I studied in Italy and I did something completely different. I studied mechanical engineering and aeronautical engineering, and the Italian approach is very theoretical but not practical. Whilst in the University of Monaco, what I found is that all professors are extremely helpful, and the approach is really practical, and it's what I needed to create and set up my company here in Monaco. And basically, I found some pain points in an industry, which is the shipping industry, especially in the container industry. And starting from there, I decided to try to do something on my own and create a company. But to do that, I needed a lot of skills that I didn't have in my background, because as I said before, I studied engineering. And with the MBA, basically, I received all those skills and I decided to set up this company. And for now, it's going well, so I hope it will keep on like that, let's say.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrea. So, Aymeric, maybe we could say a word. Well, you already mentioned in your presentation many aspects, but actually, what would be your recommendation for a young entrepreneur that comes to you and who comes to you and say, okay, I would like to do an MBA, and then I would like to then set up my structure in Monaco. What would be the best advice you could give, actually, and what would be your advice to that kind of profile?
Well, knowing very well Monaco and the university for various reasons, one of them being that as I've been studying at IUM as well years ago now, my advice would be very shortly: make the most of it every day. IUM is unique, not only in the quality of the program, but even the people, the staff, the faculty. the events, the partners. Sophie talked about the partnerships. The program director, Marika, is also amazing. I think it's a real experience, and I know tens, maybe hundreds of MBA alumni, and all of them, there is no one who ever said that he regretted or she regretted. Every one of them had an amazing experience. So I'd say just make the most of it. Just go for it. This is a unique opportunity for you guys to discover a new world, study, get better at business skills, and get into entrepreneurship for real.
Thank you, Aymeric. Okay, so I don't see any question for now. I think that you covered pretty much everything. Don't be shy. Actually, if you want to raise your hand, I will be happy to give you a word. Nothing. Well, apparently not. So I think that in that case, we have reached the end of the webinar. Maybe Marika, you would like to tell us a few words to conclude.
Well, thank you very much, Audrey, and also thank you, Andrea. Pleasure seeing you again. I know you've been very successful in your business. Like I said, deciding to do an MBA is a major decision, and it certainly requires a lot of reflection. Hopefully, we've provided you with the kind of insights and information which will help you in terms of deciding which MBA to do, where to do it, and certainly we remain at your at your disposal. Should you have any other questions, feel free to contact Audrey or me or Sophie if you have any specific questions. I know it's a big decision, so you're probably thinking it all through. So reflect on what we said, and again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. We have a very sort of open door policy, so we look forward to hearing from you and hopefully answering any questions you might have in the days to come.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Marika. Well, it's time to thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, Marika, Sophie. Thank you, Andrea, and thank you, Aymeric, for having been with us tonight. As Marika just mentioned, we are at your disposal. We look forward to welcome you soon in Monaco, and before welcoming you officially, then let's keep in touch with by email or by phone. We are here and ready to help you to come to join us. Thank you very much, and have a very nice evening.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Andrea.